Hey beer geeks, welcome to the Craft Beer channel. Today we are going to one of our breweries to watch out for in 2019. The amazing brew Yonder. Do you remember that beer we had?
I do, Johnny. I'm focusing on driving.
Is he?
So,
alright.
yeah.
We're trialling this whole we're going to shoot while we drive thing in preparation for our American trip. So yeah, we're hurtling down the A303, busting out the tunes.
Jesus, he knows me, and he knows I'm right. Talking to Jesus all my life.
And when we get there, we're going to meet up with Stuart, who we actually have done a video with before when we brewed at Burning Sky, and we're going to go foraging with those guys. So they make mostly forage wild ferment, and we're going to go dig up some nettles. I hope you brought your gloves, Brad.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to be brewing with them tomorrow. Not entirely sure what we're brewing, but all will be revealed when we meet them and their beautiful dogs and a bunch of nettles.
Look at that. World Heritage Site. We're in the West Country now, my lover.
So here we are in the beautiful Mendip Hills. I'm with Stu from Yonder, and hiding behind the camera is Jasper. And we're hunting for nettles.
Yes.
Yeah, nettles safe to eat, right?
Well, yeah. Let's try it.
So you haven't brewed with this before?
No. So nettles, obviously, stinging nettles will sting you, so you don't want to eat them straight out of the ground.
Hence these beautiful things.
We've got our rubber gloves ready for picking. Yeah, we're brewing a beer with nettles, dandelion leaves, and whatever else we can find today, really.
Amazing. So where are we going to find these nettles?
So most of the time, in a field like this, they'll be kind of around the edges or under trees, and they're just young shoots at the moment. So yeah, really good for brewing with.
And what kind of flavours are you hoping to get from nettles and from dandelions?
Quite sort of herbal, green flavours, a little bit of spiciness, pepperiness maybe. Nettles are quite closely related to hops, so there's a bit of an overlap there.
A kind of earthy, spicy, like
yeah, exactly.
Belgian or British hop thing.
Noble hops, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's one of our many experiments with seasonal forage ingredients, really.
And it's going into a lager?
Yes.
Or into a pilsner?
Yes, well, yeah, so a lager base.
Yeah.
We'll take out the majority of hops that we use for our core range lager, pilsner. And yeah, replace it with nettles right at the very end of the boil.
Dandelion. Right, okay.
Yeah.
So it's a late addition of these bad boys.
Yes.
So you want like the whole thing?
Yeah, just pick as much as you can, really. Just be mindful if there's anything around them other than grass. We don't want to end up putting something in there that doesn't.
Grass is okay.
Grass is fine, but there are things.
Any excrement?
Yeah,
less okay.
Sheep poo, not so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are other plants as well that might grow nearby that you need to be mindful of.
Yeah, how do you know what's safe? You've done lots of reading and you've.
Yeah, it's really self-taught. I mean, I've been foraging a lot longer than I've been making beer. Starting with fungi actually, rather than plants.
The safest of the ones to forage.
A lot of people seem to be scared by mushrooms.
Yeah.
But for me, it seemed to come naturally compared to learning all the different plants that are out there. I don't know why, but it's actually the reason I ended up getting into beer as well, because really interested in mushrooms and fungi. Then did a lot of research into sort of microfungi and yeast. Started baking sourdough bread, making beer, incorporating those ingredients into it. So it's a roundabout way of getting into brewing that has got us where we are, really, with Yonder.
And being in the Mendips, you're pretty lucky because you've got, I guess, sea.
Yes.
All this kind of stuff.
We're 40 minutes from everywhere, basically. So
from every kind of forage ingredient.
Yeah. So the coast, just over there in Weston-super-Mare, the levels, marshland, sort of Glastonbury over to Langport.
Yeah.
And then Mendips, Quantock Hills, where I started foraging actually before we moved to this area. So it's amazing. Yeah, it's the best place to be for foraging. Probably why, definitely why we're doing what we are here. But then you've got other foraging breweries down in Cornwall and that sort of thing as well. So it's a great part of the world for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole of the UK is amazing for it. Up in Scotland is fantastic as well. And there are spots all around the place.
Are you foraging, getting fruits as well?
Yeah, wild fruits. We picked a lot of wild cherries last year, which was good. Hopefully we can scale that up this year. We incorporate locally farmed stuff as well.
Yeah.
So if we can forage a certain amount of cherries, we can,
pad it out with some
exactly. Yeah.
Some farm-based stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of fruit farms around here.
I'll open it from the inside. That's how all the best thieves do it.
So we've got some gorse over here as well, which is another really interesting ingredient.
Okay. Well, this yellow bush.
Yes. Yeah.
So what are the properties of gorse?
So the yellow flower on gorse, it's a very faint aroma, but it has an aroma of coconut.
Right. The sriracha.
Sriracha of foraging. Yeah. So the bush itself is really, really spiky. So
yes, it is.
Be careful of the spikes, but the flowers are amazing, and it might even be something that we end up using to dry hop this beer.
Well, I think I just got a waft of it.
Yeah, it's very, very subtle, but it dissipates really quickly.
100% there, though.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
Is it a bit like hops? If I sort of break it up, it's going to be...
I think it tends to be more green once you've done that.
Right.
So it kind of disappears.
Yes, it does tend to be more green once you do that.
But it's such a good ingredient.
This stuff, smells like, just like coconut flake. Amazing.
So maybe we'll put this in cold side on the lager. So we'll have the herbal backbone from the nettles and the dandelions, and then
really
come
fresh.
back here later and pick a load of this. I think we're probably going to need a good day or two to pick enough.
Yeah.
Although there's a lot around, it is quite a slow job.
And I guess you have to pick it super fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it will start to break down. Yeah.
So that's about 5 bags of nettles in the bag. Pub?
Yeah!
Okay, so Brad and I messed up the early start and missed the actual mash-in, but we arrived just in time to see Stu doing all the hard work. So it was a pilsner base that went.
Yes. So really simple mash today. Just extra pale malt. So we're keeping it really basic. The flavour will come from the additions that we foraged yesterday, basically.
Yeah. Looking around this brewery, it's bigger than I thought.
Okay.
But it's also more. It's a veritable array of antique brewing equipment. Where did it come from?
It's rustic, isn't it?
Yeah. Did you forage this as well?
We did, yeah.
It came from Bradford-on-Avon off a guy called Alan who used to run Willie Goodale. It was a good name. Who was a cask brewery just outside Bradford-on-Avon. But luckily we got the 5 tanks we see here. The FVs came from China. And the CTs came from I can't remember the name of the brewery, but it's some brewery in Hampshire.
You had to do a bit of bodging to make it work, like you were saying, that it gets so cold here that your glycol chiller had to become a hot water warmer at some points.
Yeah. The way that this building isn't insulated at all, so in the winter it was freezing. Yeah, I'm sure in the summer it's going to be boiling hot as well. So one extreme to the other. But yeah, we've had to run hot water through the jackets of the tanks to keep beers warm, and we've set them up in a way that we can do both. Some of the cultures that we use as well require quite high temperatures. So
using fake yeast, so like 3 or 4 day fermentation, but
35, usually around 35 degrees. It kind of rises up above that as well.
Yeah.
So, and that's
body
one of our.
You should just hug the.
Yeah, they're quite big
fermenters.
tanks though. So.
Hug
yeah, okay, we'll gather round. And hug
Yeah, so back to what you guys do. Is pretty much everything you do forage, or are there hops going in as well?
Yeah, there's a small amount of hops. We tend to sort of focus on UK and European hops. So the more sort of herbal, noble flavours, nothing too in your face, no tropical fruits, citrus. There are some sort of
no
nuances.
Big bitterness either.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, the Pilsner that we brew has a good amount of bitterness, probably the most bitter beer that we brew, but not, in your face. It's kind of a thirst quenching bitterness.
Yeah, rounds off the beer. But
exactly, yeah. It's all about balance really for us.
Yeah. So a lot of that flavour is coming from what we forage. So we've got nettles. I won't ask you again what nettles taste like. It tastes like nettles and dandelions. But how do you use most of the ingredients that you're foraging? When are they going in? Are they generally dry?
It depends.
Or?
Yeah, it depends on the ingredient and the flavour that you get from them. Today, everything's going to go into the boil, and one kind of theory is that we're constantly experimenting with these flavours and how they affect the beer. So if we put some in the boil and maybe we think it needs a bit more flavour on the high end, we can put some in the cold side as well. I think with the herbal, green and slightly spicy flavours of the nettles, we'll probably just leave it to boil additions. We're going to tweak cold side with some gorse flour and other things that we can forage in the same location. But it depends on the ingredients. So we've brewed a saison with sumac, forage sumac. That all went in cold side because of that fresh lemony flavour. We didn't want to dissipate through boiling and fermentation.
I guess some flavours are more delicate and volatile than others. So it does vary.
It does, definitely. But yeah, it's all about experimenting and kind of the experience of past beers that we've made.
And Jasper, you have to then go out to the world and explain why a nettle beer won't sting on the way down. What's the response when you talk about the ingredients that you're using?
It's usually pretty positive. I think we do get a couple of raised eyebrows from time to time, but I think that's kind of a good thing. I think it kind of makes people kind of more interested in the kind of beers we're doing, and all round it's been a great response. So yeah, it's good.
And when Brexit happens and we can't get the hops,
that's
you guys
it,
will be laughing.
Yeah.
Come to the nettle field with us guys. It's always been about.
That was what our business plan was based on. Brexit.
You guys voted out and then went, great, this is our business model. Right there. So you have, this is a Pilsner style beer. You already have a Pilsner, which you said was hoppy, but that's got hay in it as well. So you can't leave any tradition untainted.
No, we have to mess around with it. That beer we put a bed of hay into the mash tun and put the grains on top of that. It acts as an extra filter bed, which basically came from the way that beer was brewed originally on our really even more rustic than this pilot kit. Unbelievable, isn't it really? But it actually gives a really good flavour as well. You can kind of get, I think, almost hay-like flavours from a lager anyway, so it kind of accentuates that a little bit.
Yeah. Do you think that there's going to be a bit of a moment for farmhouse? I mean, there is a moment for farmhouse, obviously within the bubble. Lots of people are really excited about the idea of foraging, and like restaurants, you said, were super interested, and maybe that's a way out. But yeah, it seems to me like it's such a big leap for new drinkers. Are you finding that, or is it?
Yes and no. I think taking the kind of farmhouse beer into the kind of local market when we're surrounded by great ciders and cask ales, I think that's a big leap there. But I think kind of in where kind of craft beers more prominent, say in Bristol and Bath, our kind of beers are going down really well. So I think people are kind of really taken to it.
Cool. And you've got a little bit of capacity. You're still growing, still able to meet demand for a little while, and then
I think so. Yeah, I mean it's going to be a while before we need to get another tank in here. We've got 6,000 litre vessels and a handful of barrels as well, which is constantly growing. But in the future we'd like to see adding fooders to that, and possibly some more stainless tanks as well.
Sort of doing a bit more of the blending side of what you guys, because you can always have brewers and blenders. That's how you want to identify yourself.
Exactly, it's a big part of what we do. So that part will grow once we can start using the space a bit better.
Start building up.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be New York City of farmhouse blending.
Just towers of barrels everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. Well, guys, if you ever make it into the West Country, do come down. You can buy the bottles from here.
Straight from the brewery.
Yeah, and it's in all the craft.
And on the website.
Shops and stuff. And on the website.
Yeah, we've got a web shop.
And if you don't know much about farmhouse brewing, we've got some videos coming up at the end of this that will teach you a bit more. But otherwise, follow guys like Yonder on Instagram, see some amazing stuff that they get up to, and definitely try some stuff like that if you see it in the shops. We're gonna film some more of the brewing and hopefully get a taster of this beer when it's finished in a couple of weeks on the channel. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.